always flies by the seat of your pants. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? I'm Dr. Gail, and this is Danielle. And today we're going to be talking about art and Danielle's experience, which is pretty amazing. And I can't wait to hear about the experience. So, the only person I'm seeing right now is White Dragon. I'm going, I think there's a big delay here on people who are coming in. So, first off, then, Daniel, since we're waiting for them to come in, let's talk about your uh, YouTube channel.
Okay, well, I did start a YouTube channel just this year, and I go on and I talk about my latest spirit guide art. But sometimes I actually post the meditation too. So people, if they are learning how to meditate or connect to guides, they may pick up some helpful tips. Like for me, I'm not clairaudient like you, Dr. Gail. So,
I'm a, I'm more visual.
but you hear too.
I do hear. I do
Yeah,
hear, but mostly it's definitely visual. Uh,
yeah.
Hearing, yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't hear, and so sometimes when I ask questions, I can see the guides shaking their heads like this, so I can get the answer that way. And if I don't, because they move way faster than us, if I can't figure out what the head is doing, then I'll say green for yes, red for no, and that way I can see a color, and then I'll get the answer that way. So, you know, I'm only limited by the questions that I ask, which
Right.
is
Yeah, the questions are the big part of it because I have found over the years now that if you don't ask the right question, you're not going to get the right answer. And that has been really, it has to really make you think, especially when you're live, that, okay, how are we going to ask this question? How are we going to get the right answer? And channeling it all at the same time and trying to figure it out. There's a lot going on. So your channel is more about meditating then, is what you're saying, is that you're going in, when people come to your channel, what would they expect?
Well, I'm gonna talk about all my weird experiences.
Okay, I
But
got you.
I think
Okay,
part of my job, like, is, sort of documenting what beings look like, different beings, and normalizing because, they say, "Oh, contact's gonna happen," you
right.
know, eminently, but it's probably gonna be, a species that looks more human than non-human. So, I mean, I get real excited when I'm seeing the non-human ones, and I like to really draw they're my favorite, but I draw the human ones too. But I think helping to get us used to seeing, oh, there's beings of ants, there's beings of spiders, there's being of mantises, this is what they look like. Um, and my experience, the story, and how, it's like my encounters are always positive with them,
Mhm.
you know. Um, and I don't know. I what I hope is that people can learn. Um,
All right. Well, let me say hello to people that are coming in now, and then we're going to go into your experiences, and then we'll go into your art. How's that sound?
Perfect. There's a lot of experiences.
Yes. Hey, White Dragon. Hey, Fakol. Hey, Emmy J. Hey, Hypnicity. Hey, Rossi. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, RLC. Hey, Dream Journey One. Debbie, Three Shifting Veils. Hey, Carl. Hey, Hypnicity. And let's see who else is here. Hey, Nathan Sipley. Y'all can hear that I have a cold. So excuse my cold today. And as I was telling Danielle behind the screen or scenes here, ever since I was in chiropractic school, we always looked at colds as your body rejuvenating, getting rid of the mucous membrane and bringing in the new. So whenever I have a cold, you kind of celebrate that you're bringing in the new to yourself. So Carl saying your channel, Danielle, looks cool.
Oh, thanks.
So everybody go check out that channel. And Nathan saying, I love all the aliens, glad to be here for the first time. Oh, thanks, Nathan, for being here. And we are here for a safe place for people to talk about their alien or ET or galactic being or energetic beings, whatever they're coming in contact, make it a safe place to talk about it. Hey, son of what? Hypnoticity, you too, you think about, you've got a cold too. Well, hypnoticity, you and I are regenerating. Just think that your whole respiratory system is regenerating, getting new mucous membranes, and you just have to rest and let it happen. And you just kind of time to pamper yourself and take care of yourself. So, so Danielle, let's go into your experience. So, or I don't know how I should say, how about the latest experience? When we'll go
The latest. Well, I talked to you last year, and first of all, I love your channel because you giggle all the time and it's very light. And I think that that helps with the information, to receive it in a light way and not a fear-based way. And I love that. So I do always like to watch your channel.
uh,
Um,
yeah, I've always been like, I want to present, everybody goes fear-based. I want to be on the positive side of the ETs, the aliens or galactic beings, and present their side of it.
yeah, the second something goes towards fear, I bail. I don't care what it is, politics, religion, whatever, and ET talk, like if it goes negative, I just I don't put any energy at it. I do want to just give that warning that the wind may kick up here. I'm in California, and I was given a possible electric power outage situation. So hopefully I don't get kicked out. Even if my house has power, but where my Wi-Fi comes from gets shut down, I will get kicked off too. So
I've had that last moment of going live or during live when I was in California, where I'm having to scramble, get on my phone, and do all sorts of things.
I know I could try to do that.
So it is a panic moment, but we certainly understand, and I've been through it many times, especially when I was in California.
Let's just all keep calm air thoughts.
Okay, calm air, calm air.
No wind. Okay, at least until this is done, and then whatever.
Okay, well, go ahead and tell us about your latest experience.
Well, since I talked to you last year, I had a lot of really, really interesting stuff happen that were, I've been aboard craft. I've had downloads. I've had upgrades. I've had implants. I've had an angelic reboot. Like so much, and it was really, really a lot to learn. You know what I mean? So one of the things that changed were my chakras. So I
No.
started growing extra chakras, which we can do. We grow them up above our head. So now I've got 10 when we're kind of like born with 7. But on top of that, I grew my heart chakra, which is the green sacred flame energy, that Christ consciousness. And the ETs also messed with my solar plexus and made it this super bright light. And after they did that, I had beings that were stuck on the lower astral and the astral using my solar plexus to jump into the light.
Mm-hmm.
So my room was filling up with like a crowd. And my shaman, he said that happened to him too. Maybe we should dim that solar plexus. And I said, no, leave it. And I made a portal outside my house, and I cloak my house every night and make it invisible. So I still can help beings that are lost find the light. But my dog doesn't growl and bark all night at the activity in my room. So that happened. The other thing that started happening, and this may sound so crazy, but I think in January, this species of reptilians started coming into my room at night, and there'd be like 25 of them, and they weren't the ones that I'd seen before. They had bigger eyes and they wear a cloak. And I'm like looking at them, trying to figure out, are they nice? Are they not nice? And the one, like it put its hand through my heart chakra, which they always do. The things that try to steal the energy out of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, not nice. And I started throwing them into the light. These, there'd be about 25 of them. So the next morning, I'd feel like, I believe in free will. I don't throw things in the light unless they kind of mess with me and then bye. But I I woke up in the morning and I'm like, I would be mad that they weren't honoring my free will. If not, they're coming in my room and I didn't want them, right? So I'm like, I'm just going to go down into their room uninvited.
Oh my gosh, going into their room with 25 reptilians. Okay,
Oh
brave.
no, there was a lot more down there. So I went down, I went out of body, I went down into hollow earth. I was in this like cave thing, structure, and I made this portal down there that was a portal to the great central sun. And it was the best portal I have ever made in my life. It looks like a small sun now. So, and then I just started scooping. I scooped like 100 and threw them into this sun. And I went back to body and I felt kind of guilty. Like, I don't want to do things out of vengeance. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I felt bad. But I was like, but they need to learn a lesson. If they're going to come in my room and against my free will and mess with me, then I'm going to mess with them back. So the next night, there was even more of them
Oh,
in
wow.
my room. There was like 50. And I was like, I don't know. I 25 was a lot to deal with.
Right.
50 is too much. So I called in help and Arcturians came and we shifted these 50 off. And then I went down there again and I scooped scoop more. And then I felt guilty and I called the shaman and I go, I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm in the middle of some war, right?
Mhm.
Um, with reptilians and stuff. And he goes, well, they made a portal into your bedroom under your bed. And so he closed that portal for me. And then he goes, just tuck yourself into a higher dimension where they can't find you at night. So that first night I did. I tucked myself up into a higher dimension, slept like a baby. Nothing bothered me. The second night I did the same, but they messed with my body on the third. So I snapped back. And again, I'm like pushing these things in the light. And I talked to the shaman again because he finally heard from, I think he talked with Saint Germain about it. And he said, I wasn't in a war. They needed me to help them because they were not shifting with Earth. As Earth is ascending, these beings were just sort of sickly and they weren't able to keep up. So they needed help getting off Earth. And I was like, well, why don't they just use the portal that I opened for them down in their cave? And he said, because they can't, they're still tethered to a physical body. So they're not an incarnate spirit. They are, physical beings. They're just in my room on the astral, or, you know what I mean?
Right.
So after that, after knowing I wasn't in a battle, they would pile into my room and they wouldn't mess with me. They wouldn't touch me and they'd let me fall asleep. And then I'd go out of body on the astral and I could do thousands of them when I was out of body. It was actually effortless, not like when you're conscious and awake and it's more effort. I don't know.
Yeah.
And for 3 months, that's what I did, and Archangel Raphael joined me, and we cleared that one section of, the species that wasn't shifting.
Yeah. RLC is asking, please tell us who your shaman is, in which you have a shaman. And I work with 3 different shamans. I work one-on-one on a personal shaman, but I do have 2 other ones that come on the show, which is Mary from Earth and Star, and Danny. But Danny Shea, these are 2 shamans that come on the show. And do you want to reveal the name of your shaman that you work with?
Yeah, his name is Michael Polson, and he has a website. It's www.mylightcenter.com, I believe.
Okay, you want to say that one more time so they can write it down?
It's mylightcenter.com. His name is Michael Polson, Polcyn. He goes by Michael Shaman. He's my friend on Facebook as Michael Shaman. So anyone who they can search my friend list, I probably on social media, or just Google him and look for him. I found him on Yelp.
Whatever way you can find. Yeah, I love shamans, and they can do a lot of work with you. But I've had the same experience when I first started dealing with negative entities. Um, I whenever I'm dealing with negative energy, I turn into an Arcturian first off, and I have a sword that I'm going after them. Now I graduated from when they showed me how to capture them in a bird cage
Oh my God.
and take them off. And then it came to that I would hand them off to an angel or Jesus or somebody to take them off. And then it came to me that I had to make the decision on what was going to happen to them. And so then I was sent up and I knocking on the pearly gates, shaking in my boots, going, "Oh my gosh, I'm going in here. I've got to make a decision." And I'm always going, "Yeah, here, send them, teach them, whatever." So I got over the fact that I was going to I guess beat them up or fight them or whatever. I
Oh
would just
no, I mean,
move them on.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you didn't at all, but I'm just saying that that was my journey on how I did that.
I don't judge based on appearance, and I can't judge on either the energy of being of the light. Like people are always like, "Well, it's of the light, it's good, and if it's not of the light, it's not good." That's not true. There's beings that are made of dark energy, and there's beings that are made of light energy, and there's beings made of earth energy. I've seen them all.
Mhm.
They all feel different, but now it's like I've been judging whether they're negative polarity or positive polarity on what they do to me. If they hurt me, which kind of takes me too long, like that is kind of too long. So now I've decided anything that tries to hide its face from me, you know, they're up to no good. And then if they go for my heart, if they even make a move for my heart, they're out of here.
I've been lucky not to have that happen. I haven't had any of them go for my heart or anything like that. It's always me going after them.
Sure,
Um,
but I think that's what I'm saying is I wait too long. And the truth is all these things that go for my heart may be just trying to provoke me to throw them in the light because they want to go.
it could be
So
exactly.
I've had to change my attitude about it. Like I'm not attacked, you know what I mean? Like I'm not a victim, you know. And it's so
PJ saying that is useful information.
yeah, it is. And I think even my friends like, "Oh, I had a dream that we were in this hellscape and we were in a war." And I'm like, "Well, just so you know, it's probably not a war. We're probably helping." It looks a lot like war.
Right,
When
right.
I'm burning, because I started throwing flames from my hands, that's my thing is it's these green flames that come from the heart. So I'm burning things with love and it
Mhm.
like sends them positive energy. They go in the light. They can decide from there what they're going to do. Are they going to shift to a positive polarity? Are they going to shift to the light? Are they going to?
Right. Well, how I picked up on the bird cages because whenever I would get them in the beginning, they put them in a bird cage and took them off. So then it's like they made me go through steps. Then I was the one putting them in the bird cage. Then I was the one taking them off. And they kept letting me do a little bit more. And the ones that were helping me, when I had to do it, they would stand back there and watch me and cross their arms. Like, "It's your turn now. It's your turn. Help me."
That's so funny because so my higher self is Arcturian hybrid with a dragon.
Oh, wow.
And so I have a dragon with me, but the dragon blocks all the things that would come to help me.
Really?
And he lets all the things that would hurt that I think are attacking me, he lets them through. So I think he was like making me learn
Hmm.
how to do everything,
Yeah.
and be more efficient at it and that stuff. So this is what I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But it's been kind of a crack up to I'm like, why are you letting this at me? Like help
Yeah,
me.
exactly. You gotta learn, and here's White Dragon. Every time they try to get me, I used to be nicer. Now they just get powdered and sent to processing. I'm done with them. White Dragon, I don't do anything to harm them anymore. As I said, I just put them in a bird cage and take them on up and let the higher selves or higher them decide of what they're going to do to them. I don't want to make that decision on any kind of harm because I think all of them can go to school and learn something else.
Yeah, you're giving them an opportunity to grow and evolve and shift and everything, just like we've done all along on all our lives. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think it's not a bad thing. And also people think that once you go in the light, then you're stuck there and you're trapped, but you're not. You can leave. You don't, it's still a choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and getting rid of the negative entities from other people. Also, you're having to decide what to do with them. If they get, if they want to go to higher or what happens to them, they have to make a decision on what they want to do also.
Yeah, well, I think once they go in the light, they usually like it and they didn't know they could be there, and that's usually, a big deal for them is to be able to get there at all.
Here's Patricia. She's saying, "Hello, Dr. Gail and Danielle. I visited a Palladian gray spaceship once. Have I been back there? And if so, am I working with them on other star beings? Thank you." Patricia, we'll get to that a little bit later. I'm just going to look for comments right now because we got a lot to cover here. Danielle, while we got her, we got to get all this information out of her, and we got her. We got.
There's so like I mentioned that that I've got this portal in my solar plexus that's connected directly to source light.
Mhm.
I had these there was a tear in the matrix, and these dark energy beings, two of them, like walked right into me, and I couldn't pull them out. And I didn't really try it very long because I was like, well, guess what, guys? You just wandered into a portal and I pushed them through. Have fun. And that just cracked Michael Shaman up so much at my last appointment.
Well, here's Patricia saying again, I was told about 2 years ago to work with the chakras above my head. Yes. Interesting about growing chakras. It is the same as working with with them above the head. Yes, Patricia, especially that very top one above your crown chakra. That is the one that gets interfered with our electronics. I found that a lot with our people who are light workers. And if they're struggling, a lot of times they've gone up a different level or increased their light, and it gets stifled with that chakra because of a lot of electronic devices, which I tell people to put I never can remember the name of it when I'm on the channel, but put to take care of those waves when when you're having issues like that, when it's that chakra. But also, Danielle, I want to ask you, because you were added the chakras. I have seen when I'm working with the ETs, there's so many of them who do not have the sacral chakra or the root chakra. They only have, sometimes some of them have the solar plexus, but a lot of all those three have gone up to the heart, and they have this humongous heart chakra. And
Really?
yeah, so I'm not real sure what what that is, but I do think that's how we'll eventually grow. Is our heart chakra will grow because our lower three chakras are more 3D chakras. I think is my kind of take on it.
I'm sure they are, and I'm sure that they have to do with being on Earth, and they also have a lot to do with our emotions.
Right,
So a
Shungite.
lot of
Thank
yeah,
you, Shungite.
Shungite's great.
Yeah.
I know that Michael Shaman's worked with other people, and when he starts integrating their star beings, their incarnations as various ETs, he integrates them into you. So that's how I've evolved over the years, is by integrating all my different incarnations into myself. So once he starts integrating ones that are off planet beings
Mhm.
or higher consciousness beings, the chakras change. And he has seen some really different chakras. And I've gone in and I've had 3 root chakras once. And he had to like push them back together, like let's
Well,
fix
yeah.
it.
Recently I dealt with Nancy Jean, who had lost all her chakras, had gotten messed up except for her throat chakra. And it was from some kind of attack or whatever that she had had. And then we had to straighten all that out and get it back together. But yeah, it does happen.
Yeah. So, but as you raise your vibration and stuff, you start growing in these extra chakras above your head.
Yeah.
And we can have 12 apparently in this. We've got like 140 something, but
Yeah. And here's Patricia, the crown or the soul star chakra.
the crown is here.
Yeah. And the soul
The
star.
soul star is like up here.
What's the one right above? I
I
thought that
don't
was
know.
the soul
There should be about 5 that could be above us.
Right,
I've got
there
yeah.
is, but it's that one right above the crown that is an issue with electronic equipment like your phones and your computers, that interference when your light starts shining brighter. that it'll kind of interfere with the information coming in on your crown, which I find a lot of times is an issue with some people, that's being blocked by the electronics. And it can't, especially if somebody's living in an apartment complex and everybody in the world, has got their electronics going. But that's where the shungite comes in, and you can put it on all your phones, your computers, your televisions, so you can stop the emission of those things towards you.
I've had to put it by my bed, in the corners of my house, under the house, and I put it also because I'm a tattoo artist, and I put it on my client chair
Yeah.
with a tray of salt underneath and selenite.
Yeah, Patricia is saying that one is the soul star chakra. It's the one right above the crown.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
I never remember the names. I know they're
Yeah.
there. And it reminds me of that book, 10 Apples Up on Top, where the animals keep stacking the apples. That's
Yeah, and the other chakra that I've been working a lot with here lately is the one right down below the occiput behind your head, and it's called everybody help me with this. I think it's the ultra magna something. Anyway, that one's the one that opens up for channeling. That's a real important one for channeling, and so
that one I'm gonna need some help with, and maybe I'll sign up with you to do a private session because things are coming in because I can't hear, so they're trying to channel, and it makes me gag and cough and stuff,
yeah,
and I'm like, I'm resisting or whatever. I don't know.
yeah.
I try to step back and like let it happen.
Yeah, Patricia is correcting me or helping me. I should say correcting me. The ultra major, because I don't know why it is. When I get on here, I just can never remember anything of the names and stuff. But that's the ultra major chakra, and when I see it as a fuchsia color when I'm opening it up. But I have really started paying attention to that one recently, and that is the one that is for channeling.
All right, well, that's good to know. I need help. Okay, so do you want me to share some of my artwork and I can kind of talk about the beings that I
Yeah, I mean, are you finished with that whole scenario with the reptilians?
I think so. I mean, it took me 3 months and I did clear out, but now a new evolved a reptilian is there in that, they've filled in that spot now. So they're shifting with Earth better. They're
Okay,
positive, they're not negative beings.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I keep telling people. Some people think that all reptilians are negative, and that's what you hear, and that's what everybody wants to tell you, but that's not true.
To
So,
be to be honest, and I will say because I look at so many people's guides and there's so many different ones that look a bit like lizards, snakes,
mm,
reptilians, even my incarnation has scales. I'm starting to think that they are all offspring somehow of dragons.
yeah, it could be. That could be.
So
But
if you hear, maybe you can tell me what your guides say, but my dragon is like, you haven't seen nothing yet. Like he's really funny about and cocky about how I haven't seen nothing yet about all the dragon offsprings.
no, what they're saying to me is that of course, everybody has some reptilian because we all have some reptilian in us, everybody, because they are the ones that gifted us fight and flight. And that we're also the reason they survived is because we have that little bit of reptilian in us. So that's why you're seeing that. That's what they're saying.
Well, I think it's gone a little haywire. And I'm sure that we exist today because of that sweet gift, but now we're being kept too much in the flight and,
Right.
fight and
Right.
flight. We're too much.
That's,
And Michael Shaman blames our ego. He blames our ego for that
and
too.
they're also associating it with those three lower chakras. That's what they just told me. So there is something to that. So anyway, yeah, I'll have
Okay,
to
so
read more of that.
I'll share hopefully, and maybe people can comment and tell me if you
Okay,
see my screen.
there we go.
Okay.
Let us know, everybody, if you can see the screen.
Yeah, because I don't want to keep talking and have. Do they see it?
I'm looking. I have screwed up.
Do they not see it?
Yes, all is good.
Okay, so this is Adama. He is the high priest in Mount Shasta, Lemurian. So I drew him. My friend and I were possibly going to do a deck of cards about different ETs, and she was like, "Well, we got to have Adama." So I remote. It was funny because I was like, "I need to meditate and have a look and see what Adama looks like," and it popped in my head. I didn't even have to. It's probably how you get all your information, Dr. Gail, but it was real easy. He was right there. So wanted to be seen, I think. But this is what he looks like. I know he's portrayed other ways. I've seen posters of him, but this is what he looks like.
Yeah. And your Mount Shasta, I mean, everything is all that.
Yeah, the cloud. I put the lenticular cloud, which is a mothership looks like.
Yeah.
So this one I did recently. She's an Arcturian hybrid.
Yeah. Here's Patricia wanting, what media do you use for your art?
I am using mostly my iPad. I use Procreate, the software. So this is an Arcturian human hybrid, and she lived in Egypt. And my information that I got was that she lived with the Egyptians. She was not like looking like this too, not even, shape shifting to look human.
So she lives with the Egyptians with their blue skin.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So this one is an Arcturian hybrid, and I worked in the person's spirit animal, which looks like a boa.
So now these are people's gods that you've got here?
Yes. Yep. This
Okay.
is some of the these two are some guides that I've seen. I went to Dr. Greer's Temecula CE5
Mhm.
conference, and I saw this guy in a craft right above, which I was seeing the craft flicker with my physical eyes, and then it got my attention. So then I looked with my third eye, and I saw this guy, and I got the word Andromedan. So I did get one word, but it wasn't in my ears. It was just a thought, a feeling that I translated. I don't.
Well, it doesn't come in my ears when I hear it. In fact, it comes in here.
Well, so I did get the one Andromedan. And I think this is part of Dr. Greer's star family. And really what's interesting is if you look at a picture of him, I think there's some bleed through in his mouth area.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're
And I
right.
added the little laser pointer, and you could barely see it, but up here in the top corner
Now
is the craft and what it looked like. It was triangular, and it had these bubbles on the bottom so they could look down at Earth.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna be able to look at Dr. Greer now without seeing that.
Hello, I know, and I emailed this to him, and he never responded. And it's like, hello, this is your family you're missing. This is what I call the froglian or an amphibian. I
Yeah.
don't know, but it's like a planet. I don't know. It really reminded me of Yoda, the planet
Yeah.
um, that he was on, that was like swampy.
Here's RLC saying, now I have an image to meditate on. Thank you. I needed this.
You're welcome. Yes, the images are important for meditation.
Right.
I did a CE5 with a local group, and I saw a gray hybrid. She's a gray human hybrid. They say that this might be one of the possible first contacts because there are humanoid. Humanoid, I mean 2 legs, 2 arms, and
Okay.
walk around like a human.
Now, now tell us a little bit about what you do, because what she's showing you is a lot of peoples that she has sessions with, and she draws their guys. Can you elaborate on that a little bit so people know?
Yeah, so when I get hired, I get hired, I do a meditation. It takes me about 20 minutes to do the meditation. I actually wear blindfolds that I bought on Amazon. They're really great. And I start seeing colors, and then I see a portal open, and then I lean in and I go out of body and I go meet the guides. And I don't hear, but I can ask questions, and they can nod yes or no, or they can show me colors. Like I will say green for yes, red for no, to get some answers to relay back to the person who hires me. And then I draw one of the guides, usually the main guide. This one, Mantis.
And this is her website that y'all can contact her on.
Yeah, on my merchandise page, there's a link to the spirit guide art. I also have written a book, so there's like an ebook download and an audible book download. on my merchandise page. It is a tattoo shop. That's what I do for a living mostly. But who knows? Maybe one day I do more spirit art and less tattooing. I like that idea because then I can travel. I can do that anywhere, really. So this mantis, he was in a healing session. I took part in for a friend of mine, and there were 16 of us basically performing Reiki on her in the center of a circle. And I saw 3 ETs helping us. This was one of them. And then later he came into my room. He was like 8 to 10 feet tall, and he had this beautiful multicolored aura. We just call him Manti, but he's come around and helped with some healing sessions.
The first one that I saw, and this is before I even knew what the praying mantis was. This is when I was so new, didn't know the names of the ETs. I didn't know anything. And I ran to my friend Meg, who I kept running to every time I saw one. And I went, I saw a grasshopper.
Mantis are great, but they're like I said, he's like 10 foot tall, so they could be, and they kind of don't understand personal space, but they're really helpful. And
Right.
I have to say,
I was going to say, the thing about him is he could go 10 feet tall, but he could go to the size of grasshopper. He had the ability to get big and little. And anyway, that's what I was going to say when you were talking about how big they were. That first grasshopper showed me, praying mantis showed me how they could get taller and go shorter.
I don't doubt that at all, because they're higher vibration, and anything that's like ninth density or higher can shapeshift. So, or just be pure energy. This one, well, I've seen a lot of mantis. This little cute orchid mantis looking one, it only goes about to the knee. They're like 18 inches tall, and isn't that just adorable?
That is adorable.
The antenna are cut off; they're longer. A lot of mantis people are incarnated right now. A lot of mantis. I see a lot.
Here's your question. Can Danielle draw us how we would look like as hybrids? This is Suzanne asking that question. Can you draw them?
I mean,
like a hybrid.
I've had people actually add themselves into the picture with their guides. I've never taken the person's picture and altered them, but I guess I don't know why I couldn't do that. This one is one of my guides. I find it harder to see my own than it is for me to see other people's. So for me to get her and get to hear her name, I was just waking up, and that sometimes I can hear when I'm waking up. So I know the mechanisms work. It's just for some reason when I'm awake fully, it's not working. But her name is Onya. And she looks like a queen. She's like, sitting on a little throne, and she's got this antler. It's actually a crown of antlers.
Oh yeah.
That's not her antlers. That's a crown.
I've had a spirit guide that was deer-like, and she was not as pretty as a deer in the face. So she was all smushed in, but she had the antlers and all, and she was related to the deer. But the funny thing about her was I kept going, everybody kept asking me, is she pretty? And I'm just going, she's not pretty. She has a pretty color. But she says, I am pretty on my planet.
Yeah, so that's the thing is when I'm making mental notes, like, like that, like, oh, is it pretty? Or thinking like, oh, it's real pretty or it's not pretty. They hear you and they get
offended.
Hurt. Yes, their feelings get hurt. And sometimes they shapeshift so they look different.
Right. But yeah, she just immediately told me, I am pretty on my planet.
This one, and she walks on 2 legs too.
She's pretty. And this one did too. She walked on 2 legs.
So very interesting. There's lots of planets. This one is a Yael. So this one is actually Ishua, who is channeled by somebody. And I put the craft above and the little symbol for the Yael. I saw Yael above Dr. Greer's CE5 as well. And the ones I saw there had dark hair, which I didn't even know who they were because I saw him first and he was light-haired. I was talking to Michael Shaman about him. Apparently they are relatives of ours. They're our offspring. We were first, but they're more advanced than us. But whatever their planet is like, their sun is dimmer. So their eyes are bigger. Their skin is paler because of the sun. And I think their noses are smaller because they have more oxygen. You know what I mean? Like there's just some differences, like they don't live with as much gravity, so they might be like not, their musculature might not be as big as ours. So this one, somebody had mentioned they were on a Palladian craft, and I had gone on craft a couple of times this year, and this is the beings I saw on the craft. And the first time I was wide awake, laying in bed, and I floated up and out my door horizontally awake, and then I got strapped into a transporter, seat belted, but I was kind of knocked out for the part where I went aboard the craft.
Well, you were awake, but you couldn't move. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't even try. It was like it felt like I was getting a massage. It felt really good. And I said, whoever's doing that can continue to do that. Like, I love that. Like, it felt like I was laying on a massage bed. It was so nice. And so I was floating, and I was not stressed out about it. And anyways, I got knocked out for the transportation, and then I woke up again back on aboard craft. And I was talking to the girl who transported me. She looked human. She looked like African-American mix, with a white girl kind of mix.
Right.
Human, though. She looked human. I don't know if she was or wasn't. But I said, next time I come on craft, I'd like to be awake. And she said that's more of a process. So I don't know. And then they showed me this implant that I was going to get. It was going to connect to my optic nerve and my hearing, something here on my head. I asked if it was going to show up in an x-ray. They said, no, there's no metal. The interior looked like an old Winnebago. That's why I've got this wood panel behind the being. So there were 4 of these beings. There was a lot of transporters that looked like 20-year-old girls. And there was these beings that had this pointy head and the stacked eyes, and their hands were kind of small, and they all looked like they were laying in a bed with the blankets pulled up. But I was looking at them thinking, I think they're not really on a bed. I think they're hiding that they're not humanoids with the legs. So they don't scare us, but they had these like stuffed animals on their wrist cuffs.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
and
weird.
Yeah. So I don't know, that's what they look like.
Well, Patricia wants to know what animal is on the bracelet.
I don't know. I put a teddy bear. I didn't get, there were 2 of those through a doorway that I could see from where I was sitting. And there was 2 in the room I was in. And it was so weird because I was like, there was a window and there was space outside. And I don't know, my normal self would have gone and looked out the window to see if I could see Earth or maybe another planet or whatever. And I would maybe know where I was. And I didn't do that, but I would have asked more questions.
Well, the thing is, everybody always asks me that. Why didn't you ask more questions? Why didn't you take pictures? Why didn't you do this? And I'm going, you're like deer in headlights. You can't believe what is happening. And you don't know to even ask a question. You're just sitting there with your mouth open, your eyes open, and going, holy crap, is this really happening?
I did say something. I said something like, I'm still not clairaudient yet. And the girl who transported me said, yeah, but you've come a long way so quickly. So it's like she's familiar with me.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then another night I had gone to bed, and when I climbed into bed, I saw one of those stacked eye guys waving at me. They're all females, by the way. They were all females. I said guys, but no, gals. She was waving at me through my ceiling. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I'm going on board craft again tonight. And I went to bed and I slept soundly, and I don't have memories of anything. But my daughter, she goes, okay, so last night something was hovering over our house for like 15 minutes and it was making a lot of noise.
All right. Well, White Dragon's got a question for you. What is the weirdest ET you ever saw? Mine was a square faced with the square eyes. Really weird. What is the weirdest one you've seen?
So that's a tough one. I've seen a lot of weird ones. There was this time when there was a tear in the matrix because of the solar flare, and this thing came in my room that was like, it was like a box. This box floated in and it went to my ceiling, and then it opened, and there was this being that reminded me of the Demogorgon on Stranger Things, like a plant, like with teeth. And
Mm.
it got as big as my room, and then the beak with all the teeth got it was all the way to my heart, like it was right there.
Everybody goes to your heart.
They always go for my heart. And so and I texted my daughter and I'm like, "What's in my room right now?" And she goes, "I don't know, but it's really not good." I said, "Can you please get rid of it for me?" Because I was glitching because of the solar flares at the moment and I couldn't clear my room. So, and then when I looked back, it was gone. She got rid of it, but that was really weird. And then I had some more like things like that that were not from inside our matrix. They were dark energy beings and they kind of were boxy headed. I didn't see the eyes, but they had these like noodly things on top. So
Many experiences. Stacy saying, "Hi, Dr. Gail and Danielle. 3 days ago, I had my first real memory as a higher being and went up against darkness. I'm still processing it." Well, good for you, Stacy. And it does, when that first starts happening to you, it does take some time. Um, and she's saying she knew the prime creator was definitely moving through her. So you're wanting information about that, Stacy. It would take me a little bit more to get into that. I'm going to take advantage of having Danielle here and hearing her experiences right now. It's not important to me, but right now I'd like to get into her information. So,
yeah, I think there's probably a lot of us who are here to help clear the lower astral. There's a lot of people who are stuck. Um, and when they're on Earth too long, they start, I don't know what the word is, but I'm sure you've seen it, Dr. Gill. They don't look like a human anymore. They start morphing into something that's like not good, So they just need help. And so I think there's a lot of us that are helping to clear the lower astral.
right, there's a lot of them that come through with just needing help. And
Yeah, they need help.
I always seem to attract the high maintenance ones that are needing help, or either maybe they've tried a lot of people and they come to me and go, "Oh, there's that sucker. She'll do anything to help us." I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they can see that you glow differently, and so they're like, that light, we can follow her, and she's gonna be able to help us. And it's a learning process. So I think that once you start finding out that you're one of the ones that are helping do that kind of work, you probably are going to learn how to do it more and more efficiently. For
Right.
me, for me, like I said, it's more work for me and it's more effort for me to do it consciously and awake than it is for me to do it. I fall back into myself. I almost picture an SD plunge and I just fall back and I let my subconscious go deal with it.
Yeah.
And then it looks like bombs are going off and it's crazy. And
Yes. But Stacy, I think that's great that you're able to that's happened to you. And on my next show we'll kind of get more going deeper into that kind of thing. But as I said, I really like to take advantage of Danielle while she's here with all the information she has. And so what would be your most unusual experience? Or well, let's start off with your first experience and then your most unusual experience.
I mean, I think my most unusual was being consciously awake and aboard a craft. That uh, I remember when I got back to body, I was woohoo! Finally, and that reaction is unusual, in and of
Right.
itself. But I this week I've dealt with 3 separate occasions, beings that aren't even in physical form. They're just almost like clouds or gas. They're just energy and they don't even have a form.
Right.
Last week, one of them looked like a cloud, was trying to communicate with me with lightning. It was trying to spell words in the lightning. And I was like, slow down, I can't read it. You're moving too fast. And I told Michael Shaman about it, and he said it was a whole family. There was a mom and a dad cloud and 2 little baby clouds.
Uh, thank you, Stacy, for understanding. So now, you have a dog, right?
I do have a dog.
And I don't know about you, but do your does your dog let you know when there's something going on? Like, hey, pay attention, because my dog and my cat do that for me. Like, stop, look, there's something here.
Oh, yes, my dog is very sensitive. He would stay awake, growling and barking, keeping me awake whenever the things are in my room. I think he's gotten used to it now. It's a lot better than it was. But the crazy thing about my dog is I've woken up and he's been channeling my other dogs that I used to have.
Yeah.
And I recognized the breathing. And I know that sounds crazy, but I had a dog that exhaled and he would sound like he was going, uh-huh, uh-huh, in all his exhales. And I would pretend like I would ask him questions like, do you love me? Uh-huh, like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I woke up in the middle of the night and my dog was exhaling and doing those uh-huhs. And I'm like, that's my dog baby. And then one time he woke up in the night and he laid his throat across my third eye, and I saw a download that my dog gave me.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And I was like, whoa, my dog is a natural channeler. Animals, they don't have that ego
Right.
layer to and I find this a lot when I get hired to do people's spirit guide artwork, is that sometimes the animals are also collecting ethereal muck and dark matter, and I'm having to burn it out of the animal,
Right.
which has happened a couple of times. The cats have had this dark, I don't know what, muck, and I burn it out, and then I can see that the cat is a dragon.
Well, my cat's so mean, she doesn't let anything in. She is a fighter. And so if there's anything coming in, she is going after it.
I would love to know more about the animals' roles here, but I think they are just like, my dogs are just love with hair, and we have a lot to learn from animals. And I see the spirit animals a lot when I'm
Right.
doing the artwork. And it's interesting because half the times that animal is bonded to the person from a past life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I saw, oh my God, I did artwork for this woman and I saw that she was Eve. She was Eve and the snake was her spirit animal, and they were bonded. They loved each other. It wasn't like the devil, and you know what I mean? It wasn't like that at all.
Yeah. Well, my first dog, not my first dog, but my dog Moon was a white German Shepherd who passed at an early age. And she was the one that started astral traveling with me before she passed. That when I would meditate, she'd put her head beside my head and started astral traveling. We would go up to the grid, the net, and we would just sit out there and hang out and do all sorts of things. And then eventually, when she did pass, and I was very upset, but she had a bigger role on the other side. She turned out to be a shapeshifter and my pilot for my spaceship. So she played an extremely important role. And the two I have now, the cat and the dog that I have now, I see us going and vacationing on another planet.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I've seen people who are, I could see their higher self is a dragon, and that the cat they own, or I'm not going to say own, that take the cat, is also another fragment of that dragon. So they're soulmates. They're
right.
What do you call that? It's so amazing. So there is a lot of stuff going on with the animals. They are definitely. So my brother, he was told that he had a wolf. He was bonded with in a past life as he was an indigenous boy, mm-hmm. and he was going to get that animal again. And then he dreamt that his wolf was born and he could recognize the puppy. So I kept sending him shelter pictures of litters of puppies, and he found his dog. So we've got Luna now, and she is this wolf. And when she's sleeping, like I can see when people are sleeping and they go on the astral, they still walk around my room. And it looks just like a spirit. My daughter walks through, this dog, she still travels around as a wolf on the astral.
Wow.
Yeah.
So here's Annie Bear going, I perceive beings not visible. It's all about frequency, I think. Animals have medicine. Plants are the real healers. That's my 2 cents. Thanks, Annie Bear. there was one time I was helping somebody in, and it was a health issue that we were dealing with. And at that time, we were taking a journey and we went to the underworld and found her um, animal, her spirit animal that actually gave her medicine for her issue, which was amazing that I didn't realize that we had spirit animals that gave us medicine, that you can go down and get medicine. They also, if you got some other medical issues, I actually have two. One is for medical issues and one's for medicine, and that you can go down there and get help from your animals if you go for a journey and go in. Mine were in the underworld. I don't know about you. Have you ever done a journey that you found your medicine spirit animal or your?
I haven't done that. I'm still trying to sort out the animals and what I know they help us, but I'm not exactly and entirely sure all that they do for us, because I think that there's a lot.
Yeah,
The thing though is that I've seen so many planets, like, people know about Syrians, that they look like lions. But I've seen so many other planets where the beings are animal beings that walk around and they wear clothes and all that stuff, like so many. And I'm starting to think like Earth might be a seed vault, you know,
yeah,
where the DNA from these beings from all these planets are here, you
yeah.
know, in some sort of like a seed vault.
Right. Well, we are, I found out recently we are a planet that does have all the information of a lot of different planets. That's why they're so interested in us. So we are some kind of vault or Akashic record or whatever you want to call it that this Earth keeps. But anyway, well, we're coming up to an hour now, Danielle. It's gone fast, and we've only gotten to the little tip of all the things that are going on with you, as usual. So, is there any last words you want to say to everybody?
I do think that we are in kind of some, people are getting stressed and fearful right now. And I think if you're watching this channel, then you're a star seed, and that we are really here to ground and stabilize.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're here for. And so be the conduit of universal energy with Earth, and help stabilize in whatever is going on. We can respond, but we don't need to be reactive and stand, and be in fear. That's what I think. I think we're here to help.
yeah. All right, Danielle. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody else, for being here. Thanks, moderators, for making this a safe place. And I will be on Saturday with Terry. We'll be doing the Solaris Healing Center on Saturday. And when's your next video coming out?
I've got one I need to record, and we're gonna see if I have some electricity. But I had some new artwork that I was going to talk about. Sometimes I tape my meditations,
Mhm.
so people can watch if they want, and pick up tips. I know Danny Shea has commented a couple times that he likes to see the process. I timestamp it though, so people can skip it as well and just get to the artwork or get to the story about what I discovered about the beings that I'm interacting with. But I wear my blindfold, and I'm like talking. I'm not in such a deep trance that you know what I mean, like I'm asleep or anything. I'm awake and I'm talking and interacting, and you know sometimes having a laugh with these beings.
Yeah. And there's her YouTube channel, everybody. So write it down or go find it. So, and actually, she did have a YouTube channel that she's not doing anymore. So this is switched to another YouTube channel that she has started up. So if you're wondering, oh, I've seen her before on some other YouTube channel, that's what it is. This is a new channel for her.
Yeah,
So
I used to host and do interviews, but now I just talk about my drawings and my experiences. And I don't know if I'm going to evolve it, but at the moment, I've only got a couple subscribers. It's small, so
So go over there and subscribe and see
yeah.
what she's got to say. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on Saturday. And thank you for being here. And thanks, Daniela Garrett. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.